Welcome to part 2 of the Sanskrit Podcast. Today our guest, Ramaa Bharadvaj, is going to talk about mudras, which are hand gestures and other body part gestures that she will talk about. They are communicative, cryptic and curative, as she talks about. Namaste, Ramaa.
Namaste, namaste.
So in part 1 we talked about hastas, and now please talk to us about mudras.
Yes, so we talked about the difference between hasta and mudra.
Yeah.
And in hasta it is an internal idea that is taken to the external world, and then in mudra it is using an external object to facilitate a journey inwards.
Okay.
We talked about it.
Correct.
And then mudra is so called because it has two words, Modanath and Dravanath. Modanath is to bring delight to the gods, so there is the ritual aspect. And then Dravanath is driving away, Dravanath Papa Santate, to drive away all the misery. So that the healing aspect comes. So that's what we'll talk about, the ritual aspect and the healing aspect. So, so Nati Shastra actually says that when dance was created, gestures were taken from Yajurveda to put into this Natya Veda, the fifth scripture that was created. So that means in Yajurveda, mudras were already being used.
Yes.
Already we know that as part of ritual, mudras were being used.
Correct.
So now if you actually look at everyday life, even doing puja, in tantric puja, you don't start a puja, just don't go sit there and start a puja.
Yeah.
We have what is called karanyasa and anganyasa, where you say certain mantras and you energize parts of the fingers. Okay?
Yes.
You give power to each of the finger with the mantra. You purify your exterior body and your interior body, right? The three eyes and all that. So you do all that so that you become a fit vehicle to receive this divinity
Grace.
within you, this grace within you. Okay, and then also it focuses concentration, and you get out of the outside world and you come into that space. So to begin with, a ritual begins with gestures. And then we have, when we offer food to the gods, there are gestures that go with it in order to have the food being offered to God. So first thing we do is we place the food, and then we use this Garuda Mudra, okay, to remove impurities from the food. And then you have the Surabhi Mudra to energize the food. This is called the cow's udder.
Ah, it looks, yeah.
That's what it is, right? So it's like the cows showering, you know, pure milk into it, right? So the cow's udder. So you do that to whatever food that you're offering, and then you use the Grasa Mudra, which is like a bowl. You treat the god, the deity, with such love, such love. So it's not like eat, right? You offer it, you feed the god. So how do we do that? We have the 5 vayus, pancha vayus, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana vayu, right? So we actually feed these vayus, right? So this prana, yes, from here you put it in the grasa mudra, apana, and then vyana, then udana, then samana. So you use these gestures even to offer food to God. And then of course the Dashamudras are there for Devi worship, very, very famous. And then you have the very powerful tantric gesture of Yoni Mudra. It is used in meditation. It is also used when you have the Devi in front of you to watch her from within this triangle. It's supposed to be very sacred. That is also used. In ritual aspect, mudras are a very important part. And it was very interesting. I was invited to do a production with for a Japanese Buddhist temple inauguration in California, Yorba Linda, California. So they had, fire rituals and everything. And this enlightened person, almost like one of their spiritual leaders, had come from Japan, a lady. And do you know, the first 20 minutes of that, before the fire ceremony started, she did elaborate gestures, mudras, just like in our tantric practices. Okay, and then only she started her ritual. So
But for somebody who is not tantrically inclined, are there mudras that non-Hindus can possibly use too?
No, I mean, see, there is no tantric inclination, yes or no. If you're going to use the mudra, learn them and use them. Because God is not going to say, you don't believe in tantra, so I will not. You know, they don't do that. But there are gestures like a conch gesture, which can be used to offer, abhishekam, a symbol of an abhishekam.
Yes.
They say that if regular puja takes about 30 minutes to do, you can do the whole thing condensed in 5 minutes using mudras, and they are equally powerful.
Okay.
That's because each of the 5 gestures are given one of the 5 elements.
Yes.
Right? So in curative aspect, we were going to talk about this, but in ritual aspect also. So it is lam is the bija mantra for earth, and earth is gandham, smell.
Okay.
Right? So sandanam is offered. And the same thing, flower is for space. So each time, instead of offering flowers and the sandalwood paste, you can actually do lam, ram, vam, yam. You can do a ram, you can do these bija mantras and then just touch the appropriate fingers and done, your puja is done.
Got it.
Okay? So this is how it is used in ritual. So now the curative aspect, I think this will be useful for non-dancers as
Correct.
well. So we'll talk.
I mean, we have several like the chin mudra and the, some common mudras. So let's talk about the curative ones.
Yeah. See the chin mudra and jnana mudra. This is jnana mudra, and then you turn it like this way or this way. You can do it both. And if you turn it, it becomes chin mudra. Okay.
Buddha's is Buddha is
sometimes sometimes he sits like this or this way. Jnana is intuitive knowledge.
Okay.
And chin mudra is consciousness. So there's a slight difference. And what is the difference? You have to experience it. It's always like that in mudras. We can't tell you what exactly you will feel like. Then we will be putting our ideas into your head. You have to experience it, and you will notice the subtlety.
How long should I sit like this in order to experience? Like
at least 15-20 minutes. For meditation, at least that much. And then in curative gestures also, the extent, the length of the time. We talked about it, hasta versus mudra.
Yes.
So length of the time
matters.
Yeah, matters. And some gestures in the curative aspect, you don't sit for too long, because first it will go up, then it will reverse. So you will be undoing.
Okay.
So it's a science.
Yeah.
It's not something random that you do.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the curative aspect, how does it work? Like the physical body, we have a pranic body, an etheric body. And this etheric body also has a nervous system. And it has channels of energy. And these are supposed to be even more powerful, because the physical body I can see, but your etheric body I cannot see. But there is a vibration and a radiation that's going around you. So, you know, you walk into a room, sometimes people come into a room and then you want to run away from that room. Why is it? Something is missing.
Off about them.
In their etheric body is not balanced, or maybe there is some dark energy there. That's what they say. And so when, you know, when Swamijis and Sannyasis, they don't have to talk anything. You just sit in their presence and you feel very calm. Why? So it all has to do with the etheric body. So there are these channels of energy that are running in this etheric body, and they are called nadis. So mudra is supposed to have this first effect on this etheric body and the nadis. Okay, so because it relates to the subconscious realm, and so first it goes and cleans up your etheric body. And then from there, once that is cleaned, it's very easy to clean the physical ailments. So this is the belief. And why are fingers used? So there is this image called the homunculus, the little man. So this ridiculous looking homunculus is what we would really look like if the body was made exactly in proportion to how it is mapped in the brain.
So in it, the hands are big.
Huge. And lips are big. And it's very interesting, you know, we talk about the genital area being this erotic area. Not so. It's actually the fingers and the lips. These are the most And the fingers are supposed to have the highest, thermoreceptors, so you can touch, feel vibration and all that. In Reiki and all, you use the fingers, and it's through the fingers that energy radiates, really radiates. That's why in our system, we don't go and shake hands with people, because immediately, directly, you grab their energy and you give your energy back to them. So this is why we say this. And this is very beautiful, very powerful meaning, because it brings together the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere of the brain. So you have this. It's not all about judging somebody. When you go and touch the right hand with the right hand, you are activating the left brain. So the left brain is this
logical
brain, judgmental brain. So instead of that, you're greeting someone from this point of equilibrium, right? So the fingertips are extremely powerful. And when you do yoga nidra, for example, at the Bihar school of yoga, where I spent a lot of time, many months in the ashram, and I studied there. You start with relaxing the body starts with the fingers. You don't start from relax your toes and go this way. You actually start from the fingers, because once you calm a major portion of the brain, the cerebral cortex, you can say. And the cerebral cortex, they say, is connected to the limbic system, which is the primitive brain. The primitive brain, the animal brain, we call it, or the emotional part of the brain. And it's that emotional part of the brain that keeps us, jittery all the time. So the moment you calm that, it's very easy for relaxation to set in. So that's why they start from here.
And this is how we all live these days. So I'm just thinking how crazy our mind will be with our hands going like this.
So we use that theory. That theory is being used to actually
start with
healing,
the fingers.
with the healing. So now I talked about, I already mentioned that each of these 5 fingers is assigned to an element. So we talk about curative. Curative means there is some illness or sickness or disease, as I like to call it, and that has to be cured. Ayurveda talks about what is disease. It says it's not something from outside that comes and stays inside you and then goes away. It is an imbalance is what is diseases. So we have the body is made up of the 5 elements, and these 5 elements are grouped into 3 energies in the body. So we call it Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So the air element, the fire element, and the water. Kapha is water element, water and earth combination. So when the one is higher than the other, there is an imbalance, immediately you have disease. So these gestures, by balancing these 5 elements, will be able to create jumpstart this healing process. It's not the only thing, but jumpstart that healing process, and then you have meditation, and you have a lifestyle and food and everything that goes along with it. So now I just want to share with you the 5. I'll show some gestures that you can use in your everyday life probably. These are the simplest ones. Okay? So first one is thumb. This is fire. And people ask me, how do you remember which is what? So I came up with a way. And so I'll share it with you and you can remember. So remember, this is the fire finger, because this is the energizing finger. This is the powerful finger. Again, then fire also, think about your breath. Once the heat leaves your body, you're dead, you're a corpse. So think of fire. Then after fire, this is, the moment you wake up and say, I'm alive, then the separation comes, you, me. Okay? And then that is breath. So think of this as air. And then this is the tallest finger. Okay, so the space is the highest, right? So you think of this as high.
Okay.
Then
Akasha.
Okay. Then from there you come to earth.
Okay.
This is the earth finger. And then water runs underneath the earth.
Yeah, that is that.
So this is an easy way for you all to remember which is what. Fire, you say it.
So fire, this is the Vayu, the Akasha. And then this is Prithvi, and this is water.
Water, Okay. So we have the five gestures. So now this is the fire gesture. And actually, if you look at it, this is a gesture for energizing. So in ancient India, when women sent their husbands or sons to war, they would do their tilak with this finger, not with anything else. Okay. Only when they are sending them off to war, this would be the finger they would use, because it's an energizing finger.
Okay.
So this is the fire finger, and there is a mudra called Linga Mudra. You clasp your fingers and then hold your left thumb up, and you just hold it. This mudra is very useful for generating heat in the body. So I have actually used it. I have taught it to students. Let's say you're walking outside, it's very chilly, and you don't have a shawl. You suddenly want to just warm up your body a little bit. Do this gesture, it will work. So you feel the coldness on the skin, but you don't feel it inside.
Okay.
So it will just take you from, from
shivering to normalcy.
Shivering to normalcy.
Huh.
You can just walk without. So this Linga Mudra.
Huh.
And then you have the air.
Air.
Vayu. So now when you bring it together, this is the Chin Mudra. So you see the air has a quality of
fickleness, always moving.
Always
around.
moving. So you put it together with the fire,
Okay.
and then you sublimate it.
Okay.
Immediately, it's a great mudra for memory enhancement. So they say students who are preparing for exam and all that, do these mudras, this mudra especially, because it helps you with focus, concentration, memory, retaining, and all that. Things.
Okay.
And then
Should the other three be held together or anything like that?
no, they cannot be like this.
Okay.
They are held. And sometimes what happens is when you do meditation, and this finger will separate. This is why for beginners in my Bihar yoga system, they suggested you do this. Then that way you are able to hold it longer. Okay, and you don't have to worry about this thing coming apart. That's also Chin Mudra, Jnana Mudra.
Okay.
And then, so by either touching the tips or by controlling it, you either increase or decrease that element.
Okay.
So if you did this, you are decreasing the element. This is
The air element.
air element. This is Vayu Mudra. And Vayu Mudra is used for if you have, feel very gaseous or
Bloated or to
you know,
release the air.
within the body. And also when they say the air element is very high, that's when you have problems like arthritis. And for all this gesture is supposed to be.
Do you apply pressure or just hold it?
No, you do apply a certain amount of pressure. It's not very loose.
Okay.
You don't have to press it.
Okay.
Not because you have to see, these are mudra, so you have to hold them
Yeah.
for 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's no point in feeling pain, and then your
Yeah.
focus will go on something else.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what it is. And then there is the middle finger, the space finger, right? Akasha Mudra. So so when you touch it at the tips, it's called Akasha Mudra. And this is supposed to be very good for hearing. Space is related to sound. Okay, so this is supposed to be very good for hearing. It sharpens your hearing, and also it's supposed to increase the intake of calcium from the food that you take. So it's good for bone strengthening and all that. And then when you want to reduce it, you do this. And this gesture, they say, I haven't tried it, but what they say, the books say, when the flight takes off and you feel this air pressure, this gesture is supposed to. It's called Shunya Mudra.
Okay.
Okay, this is opposite of that. And then you have this gesture. So this is Prithvi. When you touch it at the tips, it is Prithvi Mudra. This is a mudra for solidarity, strength. So if you have some people have problem putting on weight. They're weak all the time. The fatigue, dullness, this is supposed to help with all that.
Okay.
And in dance we use it. It's called Mayura. We use it to show peacock. Okay. And then you reduce it, the opposite effect, obesity, and for all that, for reducing the earth element in the body, this gesture can be used. And then the final one would be
the water one.
Varuna Mudra, for increasing water element within the body. So if you're feeling very thirsty and you don't have access to water, they say this works. And also it's good for fluid balance in the body, and so the wrinkles and dryness, skin irritations, for all those things, it's also supposed to be very good. And then it brings glow to the body, especially the face. That's what they say. And also it's supposed to help with constipation and all that, because it increases the
water
element. right? So these are some of the basic mudras using the five
fingers.
And then we have this, which is known as the Abhaya Mudra. You can actually sit in meditation with this if you feel fear, or doubt and fear. You can actually sit in meditation with this, and it will help. And then there's another thing that this doesn't fall under Mudra category, but I think we can apply it in Mudra category. When people talk, in public speeches, have you seen them do this?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means? It's a natural way that the body actually goes into it. It actually focuses your attention for flow of thought, because the right brain, left brain, they all come together. People don't know this, why they are using it. The body naturally goes into it. And this is actually a mudra that is used for that. Okay? And then the Varuna thing, this is funny, so I will say this. Girivara Mudra it is called, because Krishna lifted the Giri, the mountain, with his little finger. So it's called Girivara Mudra. In schools, you have children, teacher, want to go to the bathroom, they use this finger. This is actually used for that. Who taught this to children? They just automatically, all the kids
need to get out some water.
right? This is actually, it's for increasing, if you have urinary problems, this is to increase that. And then sweating, if you have problem of not sweating at all. Some people have that because of blockages. It increases that. So to get rid of toxic fluids from the body, this Girivara Mudra is used. So these are all the curative aspects of gesture.
Because we also use the middle finger.
See, again, that's a cultural context. You see, because we have in Hasta, we have Shukatunda, which is all middle finger. Okay. And so this gesture means parrot's beak, and it is used to say arrow, okay, or lightning. We use that very commonly. And even, Ganesha Mudra, in the ritual aspect, Ganesha Mudra has this. Little finger, the middle finger coming. But then you cannot use it if you are in a culturally different place. In the United States, it's obscene.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And people will come and shoot you for that.
Yes, exactly.
So you have to think about.
And then the Shankha Mudra is
Shankha Mudra is, do you know how to do it? So you hold the left hand down, and then with the right hand, you hold the thumb, and then just hold it in. So it looks like a shankha.
Shankha, yeah, like a conch.
Yeah, and this is also a healing mudra. It can be used. They say that if you do the Shankha Mudra and sit in meditation, the throat will get sweeter. But then if you hold it too long, it increases the heat element in the body, I think. So everything, if you overdo it, it's wrong anyway.
Yeah. So 20 minutes or so.
15 to 20 minutes.
So what is your favorite mudra, one that you use often, or do you not have favorites?
No, I'm a dancer, so I love all different mudras. My favorite ones, and there is a reason behind it, are the ones which look exactly like the object that they are representing. Like Matsya, fish, or a elephant, you see? The 2 ears, and then the trunk and the tusk, okay? The elephant. And because I can communicate with children with these mudras, they really relate to it. And a parrot. I've done this in school, I do this, and then I take it to the children, and they'll touch it, and they'll try to feed things to it, and then it'll go and kick. They love it, and they want to hold it, and then I can let it fly. They really see it. So I like mudras like that a lot. And then I also like mudras that kind of cross the border. They can be used in curative, they can be used in cryptic, they can be used in communicative. So, like the Shankha Mudra is one of them, which is used in all three.
What is cryptic? So, curative, I understand.
It's a ritual part.
The ritual.
Yeah, just to add the CCC, I wrote it like that. So, it is the ritual aspect.
The offering of the water, you said, isn't it?
No, this is for the conch.
Conch. Okay.
For the conch. Okay. Shankha Mudra is one of them. Even Matsya is actually used in communicative. And then I talked about offering food to the gods.
Yes.
So after you do all this prana apana, what you do is you show the Matsya Mudra. And then you take it. So it is the energy of the food reaches is the divine sphere. Okay, that is part of the ritual. So when I do puja in the morning, watching me is like watching dance. I'm actually doing a whole bunch of these mudras. It's actually fun. And then there's this hamsas here, this mudra. We call it chin mudra in yogic term. In dance, it is called hamsasya. Very interesting. I was thinking about it. Hamsa is a bird that is associated with spiritual enlightenment. They say that if you place a bowl of milk and water mix, it can take the milk and take the pure and leave the impure. So you have this enlightened masters are given the title of Paramahamsa, Paramahamsa Yogananda. So this Hamsa, this is the gesture that is used for Hamsasya. Hamsa. In dance we call it Hamsasya, and the same gesture is used in as Chin Mudra. So it's very interesting how the words kind of...
Because Vivekam or the discrimination is very important for this.
And then it is actually more than discrimination. That bird Hamsa itself is for enlightenment. Saraswati rides on it, so she's a goddess of knowledge and wisdom. So this gesture is very interesting.
And my last question for you, Rama, is what are the takeaways for a non-dancer or even a non-Indian from mudras? Would you just say try it and see what happens? What can they get out of it?
Yeah, very simple. I will say this. First, I want to say a takeaway for dancers also. Okay, one of the things is dancers must actually study ritual mudras, not curative so much, but ritual mudras. The reason is, when you say offering flowers, doing puja, every dancer, it's taught like this. Okay, but do you know these two fingers should not be used in offering flowers? Because this is the air finger and the space finger. Okay, so only in certain kinds of yajna or fire rituals, these two fingers are used. Otherwise, for nourishing purposes, these two fingers are the ones that must be used. So in dance, if you study ritual mudras, you will know that in dance, when you do the offering, it should be this way, not this way. Right? So I think these things are important, because what we are trying to do is not just show gestures, but draw inspiration from other sources also. And these things are connected. You're showing a gesture of puja, why not show it the right way as it is done in the puja? So they must study this. And not from books, but actually go sit with some experts who have specialized in ritual worship, and then learn these things from them. And then for non-dancers, I have nothing to say, but I want to share something that Osho said. So Osho said, when you have this feeling of anger, it is expressed through two ways. One is the teeth and the other is the finger. Because of the animal nature in us. If you look at animals, when they are angry,
they bare their teeth.
They bite you or they tear you with their claws. Right? So he says, look down at your fingers. If they are knotted and ugly, that means you have a lot of anger inside you. Right? So he says, you cure that anger, you'll have beautiful hands. So this is all I want to, I think this is what I want to give as a takeaway. So everybody looks at it. Next time you meet somebody, look at their hands.
And if you want anger management, try doing some mudras.
Try doing mudras, try doing meditation. Calm your mind. Dravanat Papa Santate.
Thank you. With that, Rama, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.